Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia, I hope you're well. Today we're going to be talking about all the books that I read in May. So I had such a lovely reading month. I really enjoyed my books that I've got to, and I've read a lot more than usual, which was really nice. So I have read 8 books in May, which is more than I usually do. I've been sort of averaging about 5 a month, like sort of 4 or 5. So I'm really chuffed with myself for that one. So 8 books down, which makes me very happy. So yeah, we're just going to talk through the books that I've read. I'm going to give you some thoughts and feelings and why I rated these books as well. So let's get straight into the video. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, Goodreads and business email are all in the description bar below. Let's get into my May reads. If you can hear like cat noises and things, it's just Freya. She's been very clingy since we got back from New York. She literally will not leave me alone at all. It's really cute. She's just been attached to my hip since we got home. She is just on me constantly, so she's currently curled up at my feet. But if you can hear her sort of making noises or moving around, that's all it is. It's just laminate flooring and little paws. So yeah, I apologise if you can hear any background noise. It's just Freya. What did I read this month? So I started the month off with a 24-hour reading challenge. The first 4 books I read this month are actually from that. I'm going on to my Goodreads just because all of the information is on there. The month didn't start off very strong. So the first book that I read this month was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, and in all honesty, I did not enjoy this book. Like, the more I've sat with it, the more I've kind of been like, yeah, this didn't float my boat at all. This is sort of like a mystery thriller one. It's about 2 women that are birthday twins, and we basically have our main character Alex and our main character Josie. Basically reads like a true crime documentary. I really liked the layout of this book, and I do think, I say this in my 24-hour reading challenge as well, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But I do think if I'd have read this sort of like 3 years ago before I started really reading sort of fantasy and romance and stuff, that I would have really enjoyed this. It's just that this didn't really click with me, I guess. If you enjoy mystery thrillers, I do think you'll love this book. It just wasn't really, I just wasn't really vibing with it. I don't know if it was just bad timing or what, or if I've just kind of gone off thrillers, because I can't remember the last thriller I read that I actually enjoyed. I don't know, maybe mystery thrillers just aren't for me anymore. But this is about 2 women that are basically birthday twins. So Josie and her husband have gone for a birthday meal, and then Alex and her family and friends have all gone for a birthday meal, and it kind of like goes from there. So Josie bumps into her in the toilets and starts a conversation, and Josie convinces her to meet for a coffee. Alex is a podcaster, and Josie basically convinces Alex to do a podcast on Josie and sort of like how her life is about to change and things. Like I said, it's an interesting concept. It just didn't hit very well with me. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't hooked. Everything I predicted to happen pretty much happened, and the bits that I didn't predict didn't really shock me either. So I don't know, I just didn't love it. So I only rated this 2.5 stars, which isn't necessarily a bad rating. I don't know. It was just not for me, I think. So not the greatest start to May, but book 1 for my May reads. The second book that I read in May is a photo finish by Elsie Silver. So this is book 2 in the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver. Now I really enjoyed this book. I think I preferred this to the first one in this series. So I am a Chestnut Spring girly. I absolutely love that series so much. So I'm now going back to read the rest of her work. So I'm reading Gold Rush Ranch, and I read book 1 in this and didn't love it. Like, it was okay, but it wasn't like, I prefer a lot of Elsie Silver's other books to that one. But then I read this one and I enjoyed this a lot more than book 1. So it's kind of redeemed my faith in this series again. So this one follows Violet, who is the sister to the Eaton brothers in the Chestnut Spring series. We finally get sort of like Violet's book. So this is Violet and Cole. So Cole is the brother to Vaughn, who's the main character in book 1 in the Gold Rush Ranch series. So I really enjoyed this one. I just think it had a lot more than book 1 had to offer. I really liked the grumpy sunshine. I really liked the sort of forced proximity in this book. We get like a deeper side to the characters in this one, I think, as well, with all the sort of information that comes out about Cole and sort of what happens within the army and things. So I really enjoyed this one. So I actually ended up rating this one 4 stars. Yeah, so I only rated book 1 3 stars, but I've rated this one 4 stars, so I did enjoy this one a lot more than the first one in this series. So this was book 2. I enjoyed this one. After that, I then went on to read Shadow and Bone. So again, these were all in my 24-hour reading challenge, so I'm just going to touch on it lightly. So this is book 1 in the Shadow and Bone series by Leigh Bardugo. So this is a fantasy series with sort of like a bit of an underlying romance throughout. It's not spicy really. I think there's sort of like a little scene in there, but nothing that massively sticks out in my head. When reading this one during my 24-hour reading challenge, I did have a really bad headache, so I'll be honest and say that I don't actually remember all the details of this one, and I was struggling to read it at the time. but I do remember enjoying it. I remember like reading this book and literally being about 6 chapters in and just being like, oh my god, what is happening? Like there is so much going on in this story. It is so action packed. It is quite like heavy on the fantasy and adventure side of things and only sort of touched on the romance in it. Yeah, I really like this one. I do like an epic fantasy book. I do like when there's a lot of action and a lot of things going on. It's just trying to read that with a headache isn't the right move. So yeah, but I did really enjoy this one. So this one follows our main character Alina. Now Alina is a cartographer and her best friend Mal is sort of like one of the main soldiers, and they basically all have to go and try and cross the Shadowfold. And when crossing the Shadowfold, they basically get attacked by, I want to call them Volcra. Now this is really testing my memory. This was literally like a month ago. But they get attacked by these sort of like weird leathery bird things with big claws and things. So they get attacked by these, and Alina basically ends up releasing this magic. Now, all children are tested for this Grisha power when they're first born, so somehow she managed to sneak under the radar with this power, but then ends up unleashing it, trying to protect Mal when they're attacked by the Volcra. And it's basically goes from there. So she is then trained as Grisha, and she's trained in part of the army. And it's a really, really exciting story. There's so many twists and turns, and like the twist at the end was really good. I thought it was really clever how they did that. So this one I did rate 4 stars. I am excited to read the rest of the series and to move on to the Six of Crows series as well. But I really enjoyed this one, 4 stars. And then the last book that I read in my 24-hour reading challenge was this one here. So this is Entangled by Vera Kane. Now this was just one of those books that I picked up because it's really short and snappy, and I just wanted a quick something to fill the last sort of 4 or 5 hours of my reading challenge. So this is a Tangled Disney retelling, so it's sort of like a mafia romance. It is a spicy one. It's a really interesting concept actually. I really like a Disney retelling, so I got quite lost in this quite quickly. So we have our main character Soren, who's basically the daughter to one of the mafia bosses. Now, her stepmom kills off her dad and sells Soren to the highest bidder, basically. So she then gets married off to another mafia family, and they sort of make an alliance. And then they're sort of rivals to the Laschetti brothers, which is like another mafia family in there. There's sort of like a bit of a battle for some land. So something's happened with one of the other mafia bosses, which means that Soren's husband and stepmom and the Laschetti brothers are sort of like fighting for the same bit of land. So to try and sort of get some power over them, the Laschetti brothers, or Cade in particular, kidnaps Soren, and it's sort of how it plays from there. So it's a bit of a kidnapper save you sort of situation. But I did enjoy this one. It was really easy reading. The writing's really big. It flowed really quickly. It wasn't the best written book I've ever read, but it definitely was something fun and easy to read. I will say that for me there were some sort of like plot points and plot holes in this one, but it was just fun. It was easy, it was fun, it was a little bit of Tangled, which is one of my favourite Disney movies, so I did really enjoy this one. Wasn't the best written, like I said, but it was just a fun, easy time. So I did end up rating this one 3 stars. I did enjoy it. The spice was nice, the whole gym scene was great, but like I said, not the most beautifully written book I've ever read. But a fun time if you just want something quick and easy, and I do think it's a KU one as well, so it's just nice and snappy and quick, and I enjoyed it. So the next book was actually the audio book that I did this month. So this was one I did on, I think it was on BookBeat. So I finally read The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli. I think I'm saying her name right. This is book 1 in the Crimson Moth or Heartless Hunter, depending on where you're from, duology. This is sort of like a witch and witch hunter fantasy romance. We have our main character Rune. Now she is a witch hiding amongst like normal people. In this world it is punishable by death to be a witch. And then we have our main male character Gideon. Now this is dual POV, so we do get both perspectives. But Gideon is a witch hunter. Now he is sort of like the main guy in the Royal Guard. I don't know if I'm getting that terminology right or not, if I'm completely honest. But he's sort of like the lead hunter. Rune's best friend Alex is Gideon's brother. Now it's a bit obvious that Alex has been sort of obsessed with Rune for like ever, because they've been friends forever, and he knows that she's a witch, but he's helping Rune hide from his brother and things, so it's all a bit twisted. It's a bit of like a love triangle type situation. Rune and Gideon strike up this sort of romance, and it's just so interesting how this all plays out. It's really clever how it's all done as well, and I find the whole witch side of it really interesting. I've not really read anything with witches before, so to read sort of like how that all goes down and how all the runes work and how the witch magic works and stuff, I just found really interesting. I really enjoyed this one. I usually really struggle with audio as well, but I'd listened to this on BookBeat, and I thought that the sort of like narration was really good. It was all just one narrator, but I didn't find it difficult at all. I found it quite easy, but I definitely recommend this one. And like I said, it's a complete duology as well. So I do have book 2 just here. Sorry, I am fussing through with one hand. So book 2 is also out. So I do plan on getting to book 2 soon. I do like a complete duology. I just think it's a really nice way to sort of like get a really good story but it's still being short. So I really enjoyed this one. And like I said, I usually struggle with audio, but I didn't with this. I just got really lost in it and I just thought it was a really unique story and not like anything I've personally read before, but equally I've not read a lot of witchy stuff. So I did also rate this one 4 stars. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. It's a really good fantasy romance. Some good like sort of like fight scenes, but yeah, it's not a spicy one, so this is definitely good for those of you that don't like a lot of spice. I love a bit of spice in book, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't really feel like I missed it though. I feel like there's enough other things going on that you don't miss it, and like there is a little bit of spice. It's literally like a 1 chili pepper if we're gonna put it on like a rating scale. It's just sort of touched upon, but it's not sort of the main focus, which was a nice change because I don't read that very often. A lot of what I read has a lot of spice. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I rated this 4 stars. So the 6th book that I read in May was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Now I am putting off reading Fearless for as long as physically possible. I don't know what is wrong with me, I just can't bring myself to do it. So I've been rereading the Powerless trilogy. So I got around to Reckless this month. This book I still love as much as I did the first time. I know a lot of people feel one way or another about these books. Like a lot of people either love Powerless and hate Reckless, or didn't really like Powerful but absolutely love Reckless. I do think they're 2 completely different books. Like one is definitely character based and one is definitely plot based. I love them both. So this one is definitely more sort of like character driven. It's definitely more of like a building the romance and building the tension, ready for everything that's going to go down in book 3. I haven't read it yet. Like I said, I am putting it off for as long as humanly possible. Yeah, I absolutely love this book. It is still a 5 star for me. I don't actually think it was a 5 star when I first read it. I think I rated it 4.5 because I do prefer Powerless, but realistically this is still a 5 star, and I annotated this one again like I did with Powerless and Powerful. I really enjoyed sort of reading and annotating these as I go. It's the first series I've ever annotated, so that kind of shows you how much I love this series. I think it's perfect for those people that are just getting into fantasy. Like it's not really heavy on the fantasy, especially in this one. They actually don't have their powers for a good chunk of the time of this book, but the main sort of plot line is like we have our main character, Payden, and she is an ordinary living in a world full of elites, but it is Kai's job to kill people that don't have powers or to banish them to the Scorchers. In the first book we have the sort of battle of her trying to live in a world full of elites during these trials and challenges and things, and then this book is more of like a cat and mouse game. So I love this book as much as the first one now. I think on reread I really enjoyed them both, and I would say I enjoyed them both equally now, but I absolutely love this. So it is another 5 star for this series. I love them all, and I'm so scared to read Fearless, and I will continue to put that off for as long as physically possible. She's literally been like this since we got back from New York. She's got so clingy, it's so cute, turned into such a little cuddle bum. She just wants to be with me all the time. So the 7th book that I read in May was actually another audio one. So I audioed this on Audible. This is Mile High by Liv Tom Ford. Now, this is book 1 in the Windy City series. So this is a series of sport romances. This one follows Xanders, who is one of the captains of the ice hockey team, and then we have Stevie, who is one of the air hostesses on the sort of like team plane. I really enjoyed this one. I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like it. I can see why a lot of people aren't too bothered about this one, because Xanders is an arse for majority of this book, but like equally I have that sort of mindset that a lot of famous sports people are, if I'm honest. I know that is a massive stereotype, but I've only ever heard bad things, so that is the impression that I get from them anyway. So I feel like he does sort of fit into my stereotypes. So that is kind of what I expected and why it took me so long to pick up a sport romance. But equally, I really enjoyed this in the end. There's a lot of spice in this one again, which was really good spice as well. I really enjoyed getting to know the side of Xanders that Stevie gets in this book. So like the whole story is basically about this persona that he's having to play up to for the team and for his contract, but getting to know that other side of him that's a lot more gentle and sort of like a lot more family oriented. And I don't know, I just find it really interesting, and it does give you a good insight to like maybe not all these sports people are arseholes like I basically had in my head, and that a lot of them probably just playing up to this persona, which I think is really interesting. But I definitely enjoyed this one. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series because I've heard most people say that this is their least favourite. and the last one did actually come out last month as well. It'll definitely be nice to sort of like catch up with these. I think I'm going to audio the next one in the series as well. But yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting to see how I get on with the rest of the series, if this is the one that people like the least, because I really enjoyed this one. I think in the end I ended up rating this about 4.25. It didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but I think I did enjoy it more than the others that I've rated 4 stars this month, which is why I settled on the 4.25. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. 4.25, I really enjoyed this one. And then the final book that I read in May was Twisted Games by Anna Huang. Now, I read book 1 in this series, I want to say last month, and I really enjoyed it. So this is book 2 in the Twisted Love series, or in the Twisted series, I'm not entirely sure what its official name is. But this one follows Bridget and her bodyguard Reese. Now, I've never read a like bodyguard romance before, so I didn't really know what to expect going into this one. I don't think I liked this one more than book 1. I think the spice in this one was probably better, and sort of like the forbidden love aspect I enjoyed. There were certain elements of this book that just kind of annoyed me, to be honest. I don't know, it's just, I find how you reacted to a lot of things to be quite annoying. I also think that like it was just a bit, I don't know, it annoyed me. Like there was a few times where I'd sort of like stop and sort of rant to James about the book because it was just sort of pissing me off, to be honest. But then like I did like how it was all resolved at the end. And I also enjoyed that the third act conflict in this, because it wasn't just like a pathetic misunderstanding sort of argument. It was sort of understandable in a way, I guess, which I enjoyed, because I do feel like a lot of third act conflicts just really annoy me and really piss me off because they're just petty things that can be solved by just a simple conversation. So I did enjoy that. Yeah, the spice seeds in this one were nice, and I think that forbidden sort of element to it really helped elevate the spice, I guess. Can you just sit and settle, please? So I do think that definitely added in like an extra layer that I'm not used to. I've not really read a lot of like properly forbidden romance, whereas this was very much forbidden. But it was actually March when I read the first book in this. I didn't think it was that long ago, and I rated that one 4.5 stars, whereas this one I've only rated 3.5. Like I don't know, I just didn't love it. I think like some of the things he did were really sweet, and Reese as a character was quite nice, and like he's very sort of dominant. There were just certain points in this book that, to be honest, just pissed me off. Like I get that she should be able to put her heart first, but I don't know. I just found elements of this book to be quite annoying. So I still enjoyed it. It was still a fun time. I don't know. I feel like I just enjoyed book 1 so much that this one did just disappoint me a little bit. I also think he was just very possessive. Like it just, I don't know, like he knows that she's having to look for a suitor in somebody who she can actually marry, and he's just being a bit of a dick about it. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It just wasn't all I was hoping it would be. 8th book of May, and I rated this one 3.5. Can we just take a moment? Right, I lint rolled this before I started filming this video, and now I just have like a full-on layer of cat fur because she's just been sat on my knee the whole time I've been filming this video. So they're the 8 books I read this month. I've honestly had such a fun time. I've absolutely loved the reading that I've had. I've got like lost in so many books this month, and it's been so good. Like even with my 24-hour reading challenge and me having the 4 books in those, the other books that I read this month I've read in sort of like a couple of days. It's just been so busy, and then with me being on holiday and everything, I didn't actually get much reading done, especially while I was away. So like that last week of the month I got like nothing read. Let me know what you read this month. I'm always really interested to know what you guys are reading, so do let me know. And also let me know if you recommend the books you read this month as well, because I just feel like it's such an interesting conversation, and I'd love to know if you've read any of the books I've read as well, so be sure to let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, Goodreads and business email are all in the description bar below. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you're well.